Have you ever wondered how just 2 points can reveal an entire line on the graph? You plot a couple dots, you connect them, and suddenly you've got something that stretches forever in both directions. Today, we'll see exactly how to do this step by step. Hi, welcome to Algebra Examples. Before we get started, I just want to let you know that if you put a question of yours, an algebra question, in the comments, you may see it solved on a future video. So please share what you'd like to see. Let's jump in. We're going to do a quick refresher before we plot points. We'll go down here. We have our little X, Y axis set up, and I'm going to label them. Our X axis goes left to right. Our y-axis goes up and down. When we write a coordinate point, we always want to do it alphabetically. So our x comes first, and that one is left, right. And then our y value comes second. And our y is always up and down. When we're working with these coordinates, if we are going in the right direction, on our coordinate line, we are in the positive territory for our x value. The negative x values happen when we're going to the left. And notice our center of our graph here in the middle is always 0, 0. So that's where everything shifts from positive to negative. As we'd expect, our y's are a little bit easier to think about because up is always positive and down is always negative. So a little bit easier to follow. So let's do a quick example. If we want to plot the point 2, 3, that means we are going to go 2, positive 2. So that's 2 to the right. So let's mark out 2 here on our x-axis. And usually one of the things you can do is you can start putting like a dotted line to figure out where on that dotted line you're going to be. Our y value is 3, so that means we're going to go above the x-axis. We're going to go up 3. And again, we can do a dotted line. Where your dotted lines meet, that is where you are going to put your point. So this right here is the point 2, 3 on our coordinate plane. So let's go back up to our example for today. We are plotting points to draw the line y is equal to x plus 1. While doing this, a lot of times I like to start off with a nice little chart. We will have an x column, a y column, and I'll make my y column a little bit bigger, and a third column, x comma y, where we put our coordinate point together. When we're putting numbers in for our x to plot points, we always want to use easy numbers. A lot of times integers, usually numbers like 0, 1, 2, -1 even, something that's nice and straightforward. Let's use -1 and +1 for our x values. So we get to choose those numbers in this problem, which is kind of nice. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to take our x value here. We are plugging it into our function where we see an x here, and it's going to spit out a y value for us. So let's put our -1 where we see that x. So we end up with -1 plus 1, which is 0. So when our x value is -1, our y value is 0. For our second point, we have x is equal to 1. We'll again plug it into our function where we saw it. So we have 1 plus 1 is 2. So when our x value is 1, our y value is 2. Now that we have our 2 points, we can draw our graph. Let's get our Cartesian coordinate plane on our page. I like to label my x and y axis. It always makes it a little bit nicer. Notice our x values are going to be -1 and +1. So let's put those pips on the board. and then our y values are 0. We usually don't actually put the number 0 on the board. We just kind of remember that 0 is at the center. And we also have the y value 2. So we're going to put a 2 up here. All right, so our first one is x is equal to -1, which is right here, and y is equal to 0, which, although we can't really see it, it is on that x-axis. That's where y is 0. So we're going to put our first dot right here on the x-axis. Our second dot happens when x is equal to 1. So let's put our dotted line there, and our y value is 2. And we see those two crossing right here. There's our second dot. And now we play our super fancy game of connect the dots. There we go. And last but not least, let's label our line. Y is equal to x plus 1. All right, so we have taken 2 points and draw an entire line. If you want to check and make sure that you have it right, you can take a third point and see what's going to happen. So let's say if we cook, our x value is 0, our y value would be 0 plus 1, which is 1. So we should have 0 comma 1 as another point. If we look on our graph, x is equal to 0 is in the middle. Y value is 1 was right here. So here's our third point. Yes, we do have it correct. So we can always do that. Technically for lines, you can put an arrow on both sides. Oftentimes we get a little bit lazy and we only put one arrow on one side. That is okay. Lines, just as a reminder, are not just random. They show up everywhere. So if you are saving money each week, for example, you can use a line to denote how much money you are saving and see how much on a graph you would have after a year or a couple of months. If you are driving at a steady pace, a straight line will show you how far you've driven over time. All right, and that's it. You've just learned how to take 2 points and turn them into a line on a graph. Now it's your turn. Pick any 2 points, plot them, connect them, and see what kind of line you get. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.